It's happening. The one thing that I was like, I hope you do it, but I don't know if you'll do it, but I wish you would do it. They're going to do it with Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and it's happening. The Last Ronin is getting an R-rated live action movie. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles with blood and F-bombs, turtle power. I'm so excited about this. So in case you don't know, CinemaCon is going on right now. This is where all the movie studios meet up with all the movie theater owners and say, hey, here's what we got coming up in our upcoming slate to get you excited about putting our movies in theaters. And every studio has their presentation. So Paramount had their presentation. They put out a bunch of different announcements. Some of them I was very excited about, like they formally announced that they are going to make the next Transformers movie a Transformers G.I. Joe crossover. They announced a new Smurfs movie. They're rebooting Scary Movie. Sonic 3 footage was shown. But one of the big announcements that came out was that they are making a live action R-rated Last Ronin movie. Let me just read this right here. Paramount is developing Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, The Last Ronin, adapting a popular storyline seen in the recent IDW comics as a live action feature with the intent of making it for an R rating. Oh my gosh, this is so exciting. The Last Ronin is this brand new series that's been coming out last couple of years. It's based on a concept from Teenage Mutant Turtles creators Kevin Eastman and Peter Laird. Kevin Eastman works on the actual comic along with writer Tom Waltz, who's also worked on the other Ninja Turtles IDW comics. And basically the story is about a dystopian future where, and this is not a spoiler because this happens right at the beginning of the story, you know right off the bat, 3 of the Ninja Turtles are dead. There's only one Ninja Turtle left who is vowing revenge. And for a while in the story, you don't know which turtle it is because he has all the weapons of all 4 Ninja Turtles that he uses at his disposal. It's a very interesting story. I'm currently reading through it myself right now. I'm just kind of early startings of it, but it's really good. And yes, it is violent. It is for adults. And it's also very, very popular, not only just with Ninja Turtle fans, but for comic book fans in general. I mean, this is where Turtles originated from, so it makes sense. They even said in this article that it's the second highest selling graphic novel of 2023. So clearly, great source material to make into a movie. The only concern was Ninja Turtles has been owned for the last few years by Nickelodeon. They've owned them all the way back to 2012 when they released that series. So there was always this belief of like, is Nickelodeon gonna put out an R-rated Ninja Turtles movie or even just a violent Ninja Turtles movie when they're obviously making things like Rise of the TMNT, the Ninja Turtles, Mutant Mayhem, and all that kind of stuff. But then we got that Batman Ninja Turtles animated movie that came out. And if you've seen that movie, it's not R-rated, but it's definitely more violent than what we were expecting for that crossover movie. So that was the early hint of, well, maybe they would be up for doing a Last Ronin movie. Maybe it would be okay. And I remember even when Mutant Mayhem came out, I have to look back at all my old videos, but I remember saying something at some point to the effect of, some people were concerned about Mutant Mayhem maybe hitting a younger audience. And I felt like it did hit general audiences. I don't think it was just for young kids. I feel like a lot of people appreciated and enjoyed that movie. But it was obviously definitely hitting for a younger audience. And I'm like, that's okay. But we're now in a world where it's already established that Ninja Turtles has a multiverse. It's already established that Ninja Turtles hits different audiences. Let's do Ninja Turtles the same way that we see Marvel and DC do, where we can have stuff that's for adults, we can have stuff that's for younger people, we can have stuff for general audiences. I mean, right now, Marvel, who's been PG-13 with all their movies, is now dropping an R-rated Deadpool and Wolverine movie that's gonna be in the MCU, so it's already proven that we're open to this. And so it makes sense that, okay, let's have Mutant Mayhem be for the younger people and for general audiences, but now let's make something for those hardcore adult Ninja Turtle fans that we know exist and those hardcore comic book fans that we know exist and do something with this. And it makes sense when you see the person behind it, who is Walter Hamada, who used to be the former head of DC Films back at Warner Brothers. He also was head of Warner Brothers horror department for a very long time. So now it's like, okay, this is making sense. The guy that used to be at DC, and they definitely had some R-rated movies in their past universes, is now coming over to Paramount, started Ninja Turtles license, saw Last Ronin, and is like, oh, we doing that. And thank you. Appreciate it. So that's really cool. They also said that one of the writers that's going to be on the movie is Tyler Burton Smith. He is one of the co-writers of the upcoming movie Boy Kills World. I have not seen this movie yet, but I've seen the trailers for it. And if you've seen the trailers for it, they have some pretty intense action scenes. And I'm like, if any of that's going to be in Last Ronin, I'm giving a thumbs up on that. I'm really hoping that Kevin Eastman and Tom Waltz are in some way involved in this as well, whether they are writers on this as well, or if they're consultants or something. I feel like because they've been able to establish the Last Ronin world so well in the comics, they should be involved in the movie to make that perfect synergy, to make sure that what we saw in those pages can happen on the big screen. But it's just so exciting to see this happen. This is something I've been wanting for Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and other franchises as well for so long. Even though in the case of Ninja Turtles, started as a comic book, an indie comic book that was violent, but many people know it for the 80s animated series, the Eating Pizza, the Cowabunga, and that's fine. But I think we're at a point now where not only can something like Ninja Turtles hit multiple audiences as it should, as it's done before, but we've also have even the people that watch the old cartoons and maybe that was their version of Turtles are now grown up and are watching more adult things, and particularly watching adult things that deal with superheroes and fantasy and sci-fi and all that kind of stuff. Ninja Turtles is at that point where we can make an R-rated version. It's not going to confuse people out there. We can still have something that is going to be for the kids, but we can also have something for the adults as well. It's so smart. It's so smart. I just never knew it was going to happen. I didn't think they would have the guts to do it, but they had the guts and they're doing it. It's probably going to be a while before we get it. We are also supposed to be getting that Last Ronin video game. That's in development. We don't know when that's coming out. I would not be surprised if they tried to make these as close as possible. It seems like a perfect cross promotion. But yeah, I don't know if this was ever the plan intentionally at the start, but I think having something like Last Ronin be a thing is making a nice, perfect distinction between Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles that's over here and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles that's over here. You know, that's really cool. Now, in addition to it being rated R, they also are saying it's going to be live action. Now, obviously the people that are in the movie can be live action, but what does this mean for The Last Ronin? Because there's obviously the classic 1990 movie where we had the people in animatronics and rubber suits, but there's also, of course, been the Michael Bay movies where they were CG and everyone around them was human. Hear me out. I'm pretty sure CG is going to be involved in some kind of way with this movie, but look at the Last Ronin's outfit. Now, when you talk about the old Turtles, they're practically naked, you know, like you see the entire body. So obviously a rubber suit had to be made to make a full turtle costume. But the Last Ronin wears a lot of clothes. There's a lot of hoods and stuff around him, like armor. So a lot of his body is covered. You know, you see the turtle head, you see turtle hands and feet, but for the most part, you don't really see a lot of turtle because of his outfit. So I'm thinking, let's go old school. Let's go 1990. Figure out a way to do a turtle face that's comfortable and realistic. But I feel like so many clothes are on the Last Ronin that you could probably just have a person in that outfit, put the turtle places where you need turtle places, and the rest of it's just wardrobe. And you got a person running around. And if anything, that might make him actually even more flexible than they were in those outfits, which kudos to the people who did Ninja Turtle stunts in those outfits back in the day, because seeing how big those things were, and I'm sure how heavy they were, especially with all the animatronics in it, the fact that they were doing flips and backflips and fights and that is amazing. But I feel like with Last Ronin, you could even do that more, because now you can have those far away shots where we're seeing a lot of action. You're not really seeing the face that much. You don't need as much work with that. Or maybe that's something where you have a basis, but you can also use CG to enhance the facial expressions and stuff like that. You can do that mix now. But I feel like this has the room because of that outfit for being practical. Now, when you get to the point where you may need to show more of the turtle, because there's obviously parts of the Last Ronin where you do see the Last Ronin out of that outfit, or where you see the flashbacks with the other turtles. Okay, if you got to use some CG there, totally understand. But I think for a lot of the fight scenes with Last Ronin, you could have him just be a person and just figure out how to turtleize his face and hands and be good. So just something to put out there. Do what you got to do. I'm just happy this is being made. But if this can go even back to like 1990 movie style, but R-rated and heavy action, oh man, this could be nice. This could be so nice. I'm so excited about this. I am so freaking excited about this. Obviously, just me rambling right now about my thoughts about this, but obviously I am absolutely excited. So happy they're doing this. Kudos to Paramount for making this happen. Super excited. I can't wait to see it. I don't know when it's coming out. If there's just now writing the script, it's going to probably be a minute. We're not going to get this right away, but I'm very excited they're working on this. I can't wait to see the behind the scenes progress of them showing us what they're putting together. But I think this could be really, really awesome. And I'm pretty sure that any other franchise that maybe has never dipped into R-rated territory is going to be watching this film hard. And if this movie ends up being a big success, get ready for anything you grew up with in the 80s and the 90s and the early 2000s to be like, you know what? Maybe it's time for us. There's a certain group of Rangers that I'm sure gonna be looking hard at this movie going, can we? Because they got some comics too. And they're not, again, not R-rated, but definitely a little bit more mature than the television show. So I'm sure them Rangers gonna be looking at like, if they can do it, maybe still PG-13, but if they can go a little extra, maybe the Power Rangers be like, maybe it's our time to shine. We'll see, because if we get Shattered Grid on the screen, come on. I'm ready for that. I know you can't use the original actors. Figure out a way. You'll figure something out. Anyway, super excited about this. Let me know what you think about this news. Let me know if there's any other franchise that you hope, whether it's a comic book that you love that hasn't been turned into a movie, or if it's an old franchise that you love that you would love to see in this style as well. You know, do they do Thundercats like this? They do. What do you want to see next? Thank you so much for listening to my ramblings. I love you like a play cousin. I am so excited, man. Oh my gosh. Smooth last Ronin.